Hi, Brittany and Kelby. I'm going to look at both of your final presentations in one video to be efficient and also to have you look very closely at each other's work. Okay, Britton, I really do like your color palette and your sensibility with this. I think you have a really unique style, and you took this in a direction that I don't think most students would even think about. And I love that. I love the 70s sort of aesthetic. I really love everything about it. I think you and I are in a minority though, because a lot of people hate the fashions of that day, and that's what they think of. But I actually love them. Anyhow, so as far as a final presentation, um, this could be redesigned. It doesn't look like a graphic designer did it. The leading is too tight on those big paragraphs. It makes it hard to read. And also on screen, you want to keep the line lengths to like 7 words. It's sort of hard for the brain to take in. So what I would do with this is just make it 2 columns. It'll be easier to read. And make the leading normal. If you need to make the font smaller to fit it all in there, that's fine. But that condensed line length just is hard to take in. And then these sketches are not great. I would not put these in your portfolio. The drawings are beautiful, but the lighting on these sketches is not good. So if you are really dedicated to them, it would probably be easiest just to reshoot the photographs. Otherwise, you can take them into Photoshop and you can adjust the brightness, contrast, and the curves, but you're still going to have an uneven light source, so it'll be a big headache. So again, these are good drawings, but they're not in a presentation quality format. All right, so your infographics. Let's see. All right, so these are your final infographics. I think this one on the left is more of an infographic. This one on the right is more of an interesting layout. So looking at this at 50%, I still think you have some contrast issues. Everybody dreams of being in a shiny magazine, but you never know where your work is going to end up. And if you were interviewing at a job where they printed the end result on newsprint or even cheaper paper that they use magazines for, the art director would look at this and they would see the rectangle and the green arm here would blend in, and it would cause a weird shape for the arm. So I do recommend for that reason that you try to make anything just a lighter quality, and it'll make it easier to read. So I really like your social media ads. My final note on these is consider making anything in the foreground a little lighter so that it pops more from the back. You could also add a little shadow. And then also the rules with logos are always that there's a consistent space around them. So if you don't want to make the sign any bigger, then I recommend moving the logo down and to the right a touch so that there's a good space all the way around it. All right. This one is more even. It's still the border is a little tight around the logo, so you might want to just make the Nike symbol and word half that size. It's gonna pop. So beautiful, beautiful work. It's really cool. I like your perspective. All right, Kelby, I wanted to look at yours at the same time. Nice color palette. I really like that. All right, I do like that you redid your creative brief, although this type is really tight. In the interest of reading, I probably would put spaces between each paragraph and then break into more paragraphs if you can. All right, by the way, this looks beautiful. I like the all caps. All caps is something to read is hard to do, but it looks good in this context because you kept it pretty simple. All right, I liked this grouping. It didn't give me any information though. It was more just decorative. So it was a great idea to add a little more specific statistics. And I think these work very nice. I might repeat that swish again, maybe for balance sake, or just put something down here at the bottom, even if you just put the website maybe in that light reddish color to the left of this person, and then you'll have a nice balance. And what's smart about it is the circle, because it keeps the eye moving right around the page. All right, so you improved the line art. You know what, I was thinking about this. Now this is really subtle, but if you talk about diversity, maybe you don't want to make a white person pop out. And that's just the nature of the color, but you're sending a message there that the chosen person is the white person. Does that sound ridiculous? It might, but I was thinking about it and I was like, well, white type, white person, perhaps you don't want to use white at all and just keep the white with the line art. Something for you to think about anyway. It might not make sense, but it's a thought. I think these are great. I think you really come to some wonderful conclusions here. Both of you did. Really unusual fonts, colors. I think they'll make your portfolios pop. Let me know if you have any questions.